Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Meeting of both the houses scheduled for today. House of Representatives session currently underway. Preliminary budget discussion in the schedule. Irregularities of millions of rupees in medicines and health equipment at Manamohan Cardiothoracic Vascular and Transplant Center revealed. Involvement of high-ranking officials found. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's BJP-led alliance projected to win majority in the general election. Exit polls suggest NDA could win between 355 and 380 seats. And USA kicks off ICC T20 World Cup campaign with a 7-wicket win over Canada. Aaron Jones signs with the bat. The meeting of both the houses of the parliament are scheduled for today. The meeting of the House of Representatives is to begin in a short while that of the National Assembly will begin at 1:15 p.m. later today. According to the Parliament Secretariat, the meeting will dwell on the revenue and expense detail along with preliminary discussion on the budget for the next fiscal year. Minister for Finance, Barsha Manpun, is to propose for the discussion at the beginning of the lower house session. Likewise, budget discussion will also take place in the National Assembly meeting today. The government last week had announced a budget of 1,860 billion rupees for the next fiscal year 2081-82. Irregularities of millions of rupees in medicines and health equipment at Manamohan Cardiothoracic Vascular and Transplant Center of Tribhuvan University have been revealed. The investigation conducted by the Tribhuvan University has revealed the involvement of high-ranking officials of health institution in the irregularities. The university has begun a detailed investigation after receiving a report on the matter. Kantipur Television had published a report on the irregularities in medicines at the pharmacy of Manamohan Cardiothoracic Vascular and Transplant Center. The irregularities were not just limited to this. It has been found that irregularities of millions of rupees in medicines, health equipment and allowances have continued unabated. The Office of the Registrar of Tribhuvan University had formed a 3-member probe committee last year after the complaint was filed at the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority (CIAA). The committee has prepared a 29-page report. The committee studied 28 files of the hospital within 6 months as per the terms of reference. The report mentions that 434 types of medicines worth more than 24.6869 million rupees at the pharmacist store were found expired. As per the Pharmacy Directorate, these medicines should have been returned within 3 months after being expired. More than 2.413 million rupees had been allocated as outstanding incomes from the victims of earthquake under the pharmacy allowance heading. However, it lacks clarity. The members of the probe committee have predicted irregularities of a large amount. Likewise, irregularities showing return of health equipment used by patients have also been reported. One of the hospital staff has admitted of his involvement in the irregularities. Officials of the Tribhuvan University report of huge corruption in health equipment and medicines, especially during the COVID pandemic. Corruption watchdog CIA has been conducting an investigation on the matter. However, it has refused to reveal further details as of yet. It is time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, why did ruling party CPN-UML chairperson KP Sharma only think that the budget was centered on CPN Navi Center? Your options are A. Not receiving budget as demanded, B. Strategy to pile pressure, and C. Budget set aside for former combatants. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. The government has decided to impose 10% advance tax on raw materials for consumable goods from the upcoming fiscal year. The government has geared up to collect the tax on gained profit at the customs. Experts say this is against the principle of taxes. This will increase the cost of consumable items and increase the smuggling of goods also into the country. Government has decided to impose 10% advance tax on lentils and beans and 2.5% on corn and paddy from the upcoming fiscal year. The tax is collected after profit is generated. However, the government has introduced a provision through the budget to collect the tax at the customs. According to the Consumer Protection Act 2018, profit above 20% cannot be obtained. However, 20% tax is imposed on industries. To pay the taxes, they will have to generate 50% profit. The government has failed to increase production, while consumers will have to bear the brunt of the government's decision. 5% agriculture tax and 10% customs is being imposed in agricultural produce at the moment. Now, an additional 10% advance tax will also be imposed, which will have a direct impact on the consumers. It is time now for international update. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party BJP-led alliance is projected to win an emphatic majority in the general election, suggesting the right-wing party would do better than expected by most analysts. Most exit polls on Saturday projected the ruling National Democratic Alliance could win a two-thirds majority in the 543-member lower house of parliament, where 272 is needed for a simple majority. A summary of 6 exit polls projected the NDA could win between 355 and 380 seats. The NDA won 353 seats in the 2019 general election, of which BJP accounted for 303. The opposition India Alliance, led by Rahul Gandhi's Congress Party, was projected to win more than 120 seats, according to the surveys that were broadcast after 6 weeks of voting concluded yesterday. Now, North Korea sent some 600 balloons carrying trash into South Korea overnight, Seoul said today, in Pyongyang's latest move to rile its rival neighbor. The balloons carrying garbage such as cigarette butts, clothes, paper waste and plastic were found across the capital from 8 p.m. to 10 a.m., South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said. It is said that the military was monitoring the starting point of the balloons, which have large bag of trashes suspended beneath them, and conducting aerial reconnaissance to track down and collect them. Emergency alerts were issued in North Gyeongsang and Gangwon provinces and some parts of Seoul, urging people not to come into contact with the balloons and to alert police. North Korea on Wednesday, that's 29th of May, also sent hundreds of balloons carrying trash and excrement across the heavily fortified border as what it called gifts of sincerity. Seoul responded angrily, calling the move dangerous. Former South African President Jacob Zuma's newly formed MK party threatened to challenge election results in the court after its stronger than expected showing cost the ruling ANC its parliamentary majority for the first time. With almost all votes counted from polling stations, the African National Congress ANC has secured 40% support, down from 57.5% in 2019, ending 3 decades of dominance by the liberation movement that freed the country from the apartheid rule. MK, formed by Zuma after he was jailed for contempt of court in 2021, grabbed 14.6% of the vote, making it a kingmaker that the ANC may have to partner to stay in power, an unprecedented prospect for Nelson Mandela's party. The claims raise the specter of Zuma's supporters stirring unrest if they reject the outcome after deadly riots and looting broke out when he was jailed 2 years ago. Electoral Commission Chair Mosoto Moepia said every objection would be carefully considered, but officials were determined to announce final results today itself as planned. Moving on, Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir threatened to bring down the coalition government if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu enters a Gaza deal that would entail ending the war without the elimination of Hamas militants. Such a deal would be foolhardy, constituting a victory for terrorism and a threat to Israel's national security, the ultra-nationalist head of the Jewish Power Party said on X. Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich demanded on Saturday that the Gaza offensive be pursued until Hamas is destroyed and all hostages held by Palestinian militants are rescued, saying he would not stay in government otherwise. In a post on X, Smotrich, head of the far-right religious Zionism party, said he also opposed any interim truce measures like a withdrawal of Israeli troops, return of Palestinians to northern Gaza, or a large-scale release of security prisoners. This came after Biden said on Friday that Israel had proposed a deal involving an initial 6-week truce with a partial Israeli military withdrawal and the release of some hostages, while the two sides negotiated a permanent end to hostilities. However, Netanyahu's put out a statement on Saturday saying that any notion that Israel would agree a permanent ceasefire before the destruction of Hamas's military and governing capabilities was a non-starter. The Palestinian death toll has climbed to 36,284, according to health authorities in Gaza. During the past 24 hours, Israeli forces killed 60 Palestinians and wounded 280 others, bringing the total to 82,057 since the outbreak of the conflict last year in October. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.